Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to do the fourth poem from your book Flamingo, A Thing of Beauty, written by John Keats. The poem presents the reader with the views of Keats on beauty and its value and its importance to human beings. Beauty is an eternal joy to human. It stands in contrast to the dejection and ugliness of our everyday lives. In spite of all the difficulties and sufferings that humans face, beauty has the ability to produce happiness. The poem states that the beauty removes our pall of unhappiness and provides joy. The beautiful things of the nature are the permanent source of joy and make our life sweet, soothing, and happy. The nature is an endless treasure of beauty. Listen to me carefully as I explain each line of the poem. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Anything that is beautiful provides us an unending, everlasting, and eternal joy. Its loveliness increases. The joy, the happiness that we experience on seeing a beautiful object or anything that is beautiful increases whenever we remember it. It will never pass into nothingness. A thing, the memory of which provides us joy, will never fade away. Pass into nothingness means fade, but will keep a bower quiet for us. Bower means a pleasant shade under the trees. The beautiful things gives us peace, and here the poet has given the example of quiet bower, a pleasant shady place providing us. Now what does this bower provide us? A sleep. What kind of sleep? Full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. So shady place provides us peaceful sleep, sweet dreams and good health, and therefore refreshes us. Therefore on every morrow, morrow means morning, we are reading a flowery band to bind us to the earth. Now what does it mean? We know that this world is full of suffering and pain, but God has provided us several things of beauty that pour love and happiness to our depressed feelings. These objects of beauty are like a flowery band that keeps us bound to the earth. Here, the poet feels we weave a beautiful string of flowers or memories which help us to support ourselves and motivate us to live our life to the fullest. Spite of despondence means despite the existence of gloom, sadness, and darkness, of the inhuman dread of noble natures. That means lack of human qualities, good qualities, of the gloomy, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways. Now let us see all these phrases one by one. First, I've already explained of the inhuman dread means we suffer from jealousy and disappointment. We lack good qualities of human nature. And these things turn our life gloomy. Of the gloomy means the jealousy and the disappointment turn our life gloomy. Of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways made for our searching, we also develop unhealthy and evil ways that cause suffering and pain to us. And we are responsible for our troubles because we search ways. But beauty brings joy and happiness. And this joy and happiness brings peace. Some shape of beauty moves away the pall. Pall means covering from our dark spirits. So, in spite of all these unhealthy and evil ways, some shapes of beautiful things remove the cover of sad feelings from our hearts. It means the nature has given us different types of beautiful things. In the next slide, we will see what are those beautiful things. The objects of beauty are countless. In this stanza, the poet mentions the things of beauty that brings us joy. Now let us see the explanation of this stanza. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep. The poet says, the sun, the moon, and the trees, they are all the objects of beauty. Trees old and young, so small trees, the small plants, or the big trees, they all are beautiful because they produce, sprouting means produce, a shady boon. Boon is a blessing. So they are a blessing for simple animals like sheep. For a simple sheep means for innocent sheep, old and young trees are boon. Why or how they are a boon? Because trees provide cool shelter to the sheep. And such are daffodils. With green world they live in. So the next example that Keats gives is of daffodils. Daffodils are beautiful flowers. With the green world they live in because they are encased in green leaves. That is why with the green world they live in. And clear rills. Clear means transparent and rill means small streams. On your right hand side, students, you can see rill. Okay, the stream flowing through a forest. And on the side of the rill, what do you see? A cooling covert. Now, covert is a mass of bush or shelter of bushes. The trees prove to be a boon for the simple sheep because they provide shade. Then daffodils are beautiful because they are encased in green leaves. And now the clear rills. Why clear rills are beautiful? Because they are clear, transparent and flow through a shady passage. This shady passage that they make themselves with the plant, trees and bushes that you can see in the picture. Against the hot season. So in the hot season, in the summer season, what happens? The mid forest break. Mid means in the middle of the forest. Break means ferns. Rich with sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. So in spite of the heat of the summer, the ground is covered with thick moss. So break is moss. The lovely fragrance of the musk rose makes it rich. So what are the examples of beauty mentioned here? The sun, the moon, trees, daffodils, clear rills and musk rose. These are the sources of beauty and make our lives happy and sweet. Beauty is found not only in the objects of nature, but it is also found in the tales, that is, the stories that we have heard or read about the olden days. Keeping this in mind, let us move on to the last stanza. And such too is the grandeur of the domes. So first of all, I would like to explain here the grandeur of domes. The grandeur of dome refers to the monuments we erect to honor the mighty dead. These monuments are symbols of their sacrifice and greatness. Then there is another explanation of this grandeur of domes. It can refer to those glories and magnificence that the dead are entitled to on doomsday. Doomsday is the day of judgment. We have imagined for the mighty dead. So all the lovely tales mean stories that we have heard or read about the mighty men are endless source of joy because we feel proud when we read about the heroes who have sacrificed their lives. An endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink. The poet feels that these beautiful things about which we have read are the gifts of God for all of us. They are like a nectar, heavenly drink given by God to human beings, pouring unto us from heaven's brink. So these beautiful things are like the endless fountain. So continuously that the fountain is giving us, pouring on us the immortal drink, and immortal drink, as I told you, heavenly drink from the edge of heaven. So these things of beauty will continue to be poured on us by God, and we will enjoy. All these forms of beauty act as an endless fountain of immortal drink, allowing humans to forget bleak reality and experience joy. This poem therefore focuses on the theme of happiness and how it can be experienced. It inspires us, gives us the courage to fight against all odds. Students, let us discuss the sum and substance of the poem. Here, John Keats puts forth a message that a thing of beauty is a perennial joy for us. It gives us peace and sleep full of sweet dreams. In this world, we suffer from jealousy, disappointment, and lack of good human qualities. These things make our life gloomy. But mankind has a hope. The nature removes our pall of gloom and sufferings through natural beauty and enliven our spirits. The nature has provided us innumerable sources of happiness like the sun, the moon, the trees, flowers, small rills, forest, musk roses, etc. These are the constant treasure and source of happiness. These beautiful things make our lives sweet and soothing. The magnificent tales of mighty dead and other beauties of nature are lovelier than the lovely tales that we have heard or read. The nature is so kind that it continuously pours immortal drink from heaven through an endless fountain.